video recorded. Please do remember to sign in this meeting. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jenny, would you please read the minutes of the previous meeting?
Okay, I'll do budget hearing and then the regular.
Okay.
Board of Trustees of Harlan Township met in special session this 5th day of July, 2023 at regular meeting place of, I didn't change the address. I'll change the address on that. 8276 State Route 132. Trustees Edward Prajinski and Kevin Kern present. Budget hearing meeting called to order by Mr. Kern at 6:15. Ms. Williams read proposed 2025 budget. Mr. Brzezinski made a motion to adjourn, second by Mr. Kern. Meeting adjourned at 6:32. Regular session was Board of Trustees of Harlan Township met in regular session this 3rd day of July 2024 at regular meeting place of 8276 State Route 132. Trustees Edward Prajinski and Kevin Kern present. Meeting called to order by Mr. Kern at 7 p.m. Mr. Kern asked all present to stand and say Pledge of Allegiance. Minutes read from regular session June 19, 2024. Mr. Brzezinski made a motion to accept minutes, second by Mr. Kern. Chief Bennett reported that levy resolution and certificate from Warren County Auditor submitted to the Warren County Board of Elections. Chief Bennett reported brush 81's back in service. Chief Bennett discussed members of fire department attended Richard Rose funeral and procession to cemetery. Chief Bennett received 2 sets of drawings from architect for Station 81 renovation, setting up meeting to discuss before submitting. Chief Bennett reported working with First Arriving to set up weekend video shoot in September with fire department members for interviews and training. First Arriving is still working on the fire department website. Mr. Mason discussed the underground fuel storage tanks at Station 83, received estimate from Groove for $22,000 to remove the tanks. Mr. Mason discussed a long-term plan for Station 83 building, received estimates for epoxy type material for existing floor of $18,180, remove and replace existing floor for $46,100, and road department removing existing floor, the new floor for $15,300. Also discussed structure for existing building. Mr. Mason reported base repair and culvert replacements completed for roads that will be chip sealed. Mr. Mason discussed need to purchase culverts. After discussion, Mr. Brzezinski made a motion to purchase culverts not to exceed $2,500, second by Mr. Kern. Mr. Mason received estimate to mail postcards to residents about township newsletter on website for $1,600. Bridget Bowder to let trustees know Bright Acres use Canvana for postcard mailing for approximately $800. Old business, Mr. Kern received estimate for fall seal for Morgan's Run of $19,127. Will not proceed at this time. New business, Mr. Brzezinski attended the Warren County Planning Commission meeting last week. Ms. Williams discussed the 2025 budget read at the budget hearing. Mr. Brzezinski made a motion to submit budget as read to Warren County Budget Commission, seconded by Mr. Kern. Community comments, Bridget Ballard discussed the Farm Club meeting on July 14th. Mr. Brzezinski and Mrs. Ballard plan to attend. Ms. Williams gave written financial report to trustees. Mr. Kern made a motion to pay bills, seconded by Mr. Brzezinski. We had no correspondence. Mr. Kern made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Brzezinski. Meeting adjourned at 7:21. So we will approve those at the next meeting since Kevin is not here tonight.
Right. Steve, you want to do the chief's report?
Yep. I did the first, yeah. So from Chief Bennett, Engine 82 is at Atlantic Fire getting service and its annual pump testing. We did receive resignation letters from EMT Kim Kent due to medical issues. So I need a motion to accept her resignation.
I'll make a motion we approve Kim Kent's resignation from fire department. Second.
Also have a resignation from firefighter paramedic Tyler Martin due to his work schedule and family commitments. I need a motion to accept that resignation as well.
Make a motion for Tyler Martin. I'll second the motion of his resignation.
We received the ambulance transportation grant. This has the same name as the last one. The previous ambulance grant was just broad across the state. Every EMS organization in the state got that one. That was for $2,000, I believe. Sorry, Jen, 2,000. So they opened it back up.
20.
20, you're right, 20.
20,000, sorry.
20,000, okay. So they opened it back up again, and they broadened what you could use it for, and you kind of had to write what you wanted to do. Chief Bennett worked on this one, and we added some retention training as well as hiring part-time personnel, and we did receive that grant for $65,000. I don't have the details on that one as far as when it has to be used by, but we did receive the full amount that he wrote the grant for. So that was, and not everybody. So the first grant, every EMS organization in the state got the 20. This one you had to write more like a FEMA grant, and they only awarded certain agencies for that. So
Did we get the 20 and 65 or
Yes.
65? Oh, okay.
but yeah, the 20 we got for retention. That one was kind of specific, so we were able to use that for retention, which we did last month. And this one's a little bit broader. It goes into training as well as this. You could use it for part-time personnel or whatever personnel you wanted to put on. So we'll have that in check form here relatively soon. On the township side, kind of a broken record on this one. I didn't know if it's with this pricing on the underground fuel tanks, do we want to move forward with getting other bids on this? I did, Mark asked me if we could just cut the tanks open and fill them. That is a possible option. The fire marshal has to approve that. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, depends on location, but the cost is essentially the same. So there's very little cost. All the cost comes in the EPA. They've got to do the testing. Like I said, last meeting I'm working right here, the worrisome thing about this is 22 is the least it's going to cost, or if we get another bid. If there's been a leak in the past,
Right.
that's what you don't know.
Right. The EPA.
So we wanted to keep moving forward with that. Want to hold off.
I would get at least one more bid on that. What do you think, Ed?
I think if we've only entertained one bid, I mean, we might want to.
Okay.
I don't know that there's any time constraints on this.
No, so we just got inspected for a 3-year period, and then we pay $1,100 a year to keep the license. To have it's a $550 per tank to
So you
keep
got a little
those.
time.
We do, yeah. I said which if we wanted to with that cost, wanted to keep proceeding forward with see what that was going to be. If something you guys wanted to do.
Yeah, I would get at least one more
Okay.
just to see how.
And then to talk about the floor again, I got another. Actually, Larry got a bid. And Mark had asked about the building itself structurally. We discussed that at the last meeting with the age of the building. Brian Coomer came out, looked at the building. His suggestion was if we had to or felt the need to, you could come inside and basically build another wall inside all the way around that building if we thought the posts were going to be an issue. So he didn't see any issues structurally with the building that would have us not want to put some money in it if you wanted to. He also gave a bid to do the tear out and replace. And his replacement bid is with 4,500 pound concrete with fiber. And that was $24,252 for the front section of that building.
The other bid was 46, right?
The first bid after that was $46,100. And a lot of that cost was the tear out cost. The cost to pour the floor is within $1,000 of the 3 that we got. They're all there in that $15,000 to $16,000 range. The big difference was the bid to tear out the existing floor. Essentially, that's the entire difference between those two bids is just tearing out the floor.
He's gonna tear the floor out too? Also?
Yes, on that second, yes, on that 24,252, that's tearing the floor out. Yeah, the first bid was almost $31,000 to tear the floor out, and on the second bid, it was $6,000 to tear the floor out. It's a huge difference in the charge to get rid of the floor. That's why we entertained the idea of us taking it out, and that's how we got down to $15,300 if we did the tear out. So the concrete's all within about $800 of each other. It's just the tear out that changes. So
Do you have a bid? Is that his bid number 24,252? What's the name of his bid?
It is, it's Brian Coomer Construction, yeah.
I know he's done it under something. He did that.
He has too quick. He has too quick. He just has, express pole buildings,
I know something.
express pole buildings.
You want to do the work, or you want us to hire it out? It's gonna pay about the same.
He's talking to you.
Ed, what do you think?
You gotta have Brian do that.
No. Then are you making the motion?
Make a motion for express pole buildings. To do a tear out and replace proposed bid that he submitted for not to exceed 24,252.
On a 132 maintenance building, I'll say.
All right, I talked to Larry a little bit today, probably looking at, we would try to target like an October time transition period, because they're gonna take a lot of stuff out of that building and move things around, and so let them get a chance to get some of the road work done, and the brush cutting done, and kind of middle ground between, hopefully middle ground between pushing snow
Right.
and what they're doing now.
Okay.
So I'll have Larry touch base with him tomorrow. Again, repeating again on the postcard mailers, I did check into Canva. It is CANVA, Jenny too. They just do the printing, so they'll print your postcard, and we have to then pay on top of that, pay the mailing and postage, and do the mailing and postage. So with that, if the trustees want to do this postcard mailer, I'd recommend staying with Minuteman. That bid, or the cost of it was $1,600.95, and that includes the postage and them handling the design of the postcard as well as the mailing.
I'll say they should already have our address list, right?
They do. They have the address list that was used last year. I know we did have some issues with the delivery of that. And the question is it a Minuteman problem? Was it a USPS problem? I think Chief Benford stated last meeting we received 4 of them at the firehouse, which shouldn't be possible. We do every door delivery on some of these routes, which means every mailbox they come to, they put one in. So how we end up with 4, I have no idea.
So this is to notify the residents that the newsletter will be an email form or on the website instead of.
Yeah, you guys have suggestions, for what you want to put on there, let me know.
Okay.
My hope would be to get it out, the plan would be to get it out in August, and then have the email newsletter ready to go in September, certainly before we get to the election time, just to let everybody know. By then we should have some meetings scheduled, community meetings scheduled for the levy committee. I would think we could include that at that time, if that time frame is okay with you guys.
Yeah, I'm good with it. You good with it? Minuteman?
Yes. Okay, I will touch base with them, let them know we're gonna move forward with that. I need a motion for 300 tons of 304 limestone delivered out of Miller Mason, which is in Highland County, not to exceed 7,000. This will be for the culvert project at the end of Wayne's Way, as well as Firming, Fisher, and Rochester. Is that right, Jeff?
No, Octomon and
Occupant. I was close. I was in the neighborhood.
I'll make the motion. We approve the $7,000 not to exceed for the 300 tons of 304 from Miller Mason.
Second.
I attached an email about a complaint of a vacant lot there on Misty Meadows Court. I also included my response, email response to them. I did look at the lot earlier this week. There is no residence there currently. It looks like when the subdivision was put in, they cleared an area, maybe 2 acre. I think it's a 5.7 acre lot, roughly. They cleared maybe 2 acres. Nothing was ever done there, so it's got some brush growing up on it. Jeff mows back pretty far, I guess 30 feet. Is that about right, Jeff? 30 feet off the roadway. So it's not growing out in the road. It's back in the cul-de-sac, the back one. It's the only open lot, I believe, left there in that subdivision.
So there's no home there, no building?
There's no building, there's no home. There's just some saplings that are in that 2 acre section. For sure there's some honeysuckle there too, but
with no homeowners or even an address.
No, it is 0 Misty Meadows Court. So there's no,
So basically, it's a woodlands.
it's a wooded area. It's a 5.7 acre lot. I'd say 3.5 of that was never cleared. So it's pretty heavily wooded, and just a 2 acre section. But Jeff has it cut back about 30 feet off the roadway now. There's a hydrant there in front of that property, so it's cleared all the way around the hydrant. And using my sponsor, I just advise them that you guys make a decision what you want to do there. So we're kind of,
I don't know if we have any recourse.
Sounds like there
It's
is.
not occupied.
There's not even an address for it.
There's no homeowners association that's attached to that,
there's not.
or any regulations, I would think, to do any type of maintenance as far as,
Okay.
it's a wooded lot.
Not if Jeff wasn't mowing back, so far, it'd be trees all the way up to the road, it sounds like.
I basically started heading back there because of the hydrant, so it was blocked.
Where is this? This must be towards the back of
It's at the
that.
cul-de-sac.
Back on the left,
Yeah, back on.
there's a massive house
The
in
back
the
right, big turnaround.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see where we have anything we can do on that.
Okay. So I will email back that resident and email them that answer. Road crews still continue with the brush cutting. I've had a couple of calls about the roads growing in, like Ed had mentioned a couple meetings ago or a month or so ago. So they're trying to get caught up. So they're still working on the brush cutting. And then they had a lot Monday morning. They had a lot of trees and limbs to pick up from the storms that we had on Sunday afternoon and evening. So they've got most of that stuff picked back up again. On the cemeteries, I contacted the Ohio Department of Commerce, referenced the cemetery grant. She contacted me back, and we had not updated some of our information with them on the cemetery. So we were not currently eligible for the cemetery grant because we did not have that stuff updated. So I have started through that process. That included sending our regulations, rules, regulations for the cemeteries up to them, as well as taking, I think I took 8 or so cemeteries off of our registration list that haven't had a interment in the last 25 years. So that list is now up to date, and I have to go through the other remaining and send some information on the remaining active cemeteries. So I'll have that, when I get back from vacation, I'll have that finished up.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Appreciate that. All right, let's go to old business.
The masonry repairs on that we had discussed 2 meetings ago, I believe, have been completed out here on the school.
Okay. Yeah, I seen that. Appreciate that.
That's all I have for old business.
All right. Jeep meet this weekend, I believe from 10 to 3, is it? Look, I don't know. I think it's 10 to 3 here at this. I'll talk to Little Miami Gig about moving our vehicles up to the gravel lot. Dusty's done. Those cars taken care of. That's all I have for old. Any old? Jenny?
No.
New business, Ed?
I entertained quite a few calls on the downed trees, and I did speak with Steve about some type of a protocol. Did we have any recommendations on a good way of approaching? I mean, I know people want to be proactive and let us know that there's trees down, but my response, I'd like to maybe have a better plan on how to get that covered.
As far as,
Well, I contact Steve
when there's a tree on the road,
on the township roads. It just seems like there could be a little better method.
we've always just, fire department's always handled it as far as, I mean, that's kind of an emergency safety issue.
So would a good protocol be to contact Dusty? Or would it be to let Steve know? It could be any time of the day or night.
Well, you guys prefer is just to call 911, don't you? Let them know.
It's something like, that's what most people do. That's from, I mean, we had
Yeah, it's
I
we
usually I
had
just
10 or
call
so
the
calls that day, I
dispatch
think.
Don't call 911, I'll call the dispatch center and then they'll dispatch it.
And then they'll let them decide on who,
Well, they'll call the fire department.
okay.
Yeah, it normally starts with the fire department, and we, obviously since Jeff works on both, it'll be, and so we'll make a decision. Is it something that we just gonna get the backhoe, or do we wanna, and this one that was late the other night, you must all gonna call at the same time. My phone's blowing up. I can't answer fast enough because all the trustees are calling me at the same time about trees being down. And, so it was just, and the fire crews have been out. And so I over and looked at that one. So sometimes on those roads, like, not much traffic on that road, I just went over to see what was there, hoping maybe, I could take a chainsaw and it was just had vines and stuff. So at that point, it was just faster for me just to grab my skid loader and go push off the road as opposed to get an engine dispatched and then still not really have the right tool, on the engine of sitting there and going through the vines and things. So,
When the fire department goes out, like I was in charge that day, we had like going 4 or 5 different ways. It wasn't just concentrating on one. We was going 4 or 5 different ways, trying to communicate that.
Some of them we get calls on, or, you could get out of your vehicle and.
You have
that.
Most of them that I've taken care of myself, I just drive there.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
I have to get a saw.
And there's sometimes it's an elderly person that can't. And
Right.
thanks.
Right. But yeah, usually I call I don't call the emergency number, I'll call, a lot of people do, but I call the dispatch center directly. That way you're.
That'd be good to,
And it's not all
use.
it's not all the township roads, so the problems.
Mhm.
A lot of it's county and state.
Yep.
So it's not the township.
Maybe we should have the state come out. Wonder how long that would take.
we'd still be sitting out there probably.
Just to look at it.
There's a post at the Crossing Cemetery that Chris replaced a while back, and it's not an exact alignment with my with their slats more or less.
Mhm.
But Larry had mentioned that to try to make it better, what could we do? Chris can't get anything that matches that, and if I'm to modify that with a Dremel tool or something, then you're going to have a void at the top. So I don't know if I can repair it. It's not crazy obvious, but it is. They are different.
It's white.
Yeah, it's where it comes in. You have a post coming in,
Right.
a post coming in, and then one of them kind of goes up a little bit towards the bottom. It goes up about an inch and a half.
Is it that noticeable?
I noticed it, but I'm always looking at stuff like that.
Well, if you're worried about it and you want to cut it with your Dremel, just fill the whole cock, so.
It would take more than that.
So did you put a little bush in front of you, and where is it?
That's right at where you, right in the main one where you come in.
Look the other way when you go past it.
Just hide it. Yeah.
And that's all I have for new business.
All I have on new is we have a fence line dispute that I need to get with you and Kevin on the Lunkin family on,
Right here it is.
Edwardsville, on the other side of Edwardsville, other side of Middleborough there. She called me and they want us to come out and look at their property line and where the fence is.
So they have current survey.
Yep.
That's what I printed this off, so I
She just
use
spent
this for
$800 to have it resurveyed again, so.
So I'm trying to digest it and understand it all because there's a lot of new changes.
And I've got to get mine from Kevin because or did you have it? Yeah, I think it was Kevin. He took it to make copies, so I got to get mine back from Kevin. But
Let me know when you want to go look at that.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
I asked her what day and stuff, and she wasn't sure. She said they're there most of the time, but I need to get with you and Kevin. I know he's got the fair this week, but maybe sometime next week we
He's
can
too
get
old for the
together.
parade.
Maybe he's a judge. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, I think it's Lunkin, Jenny.
Lunkin.
Yeah, Lunkin.
That's exactly how I spelled it.
All right. Well, sometimes I speak sideways.
I do have new, he reminded me, the cemetery restoration workshop, I believe it's September 13th at Crossing Cemetery. So they contacted me this past week about getting renting a portalet to go there. Or last year we got one donated. Chris Cox, who works for Rumpke, was able to get one last year. The product is last year it was there on a Friday the same way, and it got stolen over the weekend. So he's not sure that Rumpke's going to be willing to donate another one, since they not only donated the use but the whole thing.
Was it all
Where it
real?
got stolen. So is that something we want to? The township to donate something. You're there all day.
Yeah, it's an all day.
So it's an
thing.
all day event. People get there at 8 in the morning. They serve lunch. They're there for 8 hours. So you got to have. I mean, they could drive back to the firehouse. It's not a long drive. If we just said we just can't, we can't get one.
It's long days. I did the one at Wesley Chapel, and we had people leaving, and they never came back.
Yeah. So we can. I don't know if we wanted to entertain it, getting pricing on what Rumpke would charge us to rent one, but I don't know what the insurance is if it's walking away like the last one did. I assume we have to then pay Rumpke for the loss of the.
They should be insured.
He's working on it. He said he let me know. I've not heard back from him yet. So
Well, you said it's 16.
Rumpke's policy is if it comes up missing, you pay the rental until it returns.
Oh, really?
So, and a lot of people will steal them during hunting season because they'll take them out to their hunting grounds and then they'll find them
Do they
afterwards.
camouflage them? So you can
Just
see them
as
I
out
don't
there?
even think they camouflage them.
that way you never have to leave the stand. Real dedication. Real dedication.
You said it's September the 16th?
It's September the 13th, Friday the 13th, which
Friday
is
the
ironic.
13th.
Yes, it's been Friday the 13th in the cemetery.
Literally stolen.
You got, guy that has portalets and stuff up there at, Starkey Road.
That Wildcat or whatever it's called.
No, Sailor Sanitation. Ryan Sailor,
Okay.
he was on Goshen, PD and fire.
Okay.
Maybe you can get something there, or Wildcat up there in
We
Blaine.
could, we reach out to them, but if it came up, would we be interested in doing that, or is that off the table, or what?
Sounds like we're gonna have to.
Well, it's Warren. I mean, we could say Warren County's got to supply it there. They got to supply their own. I don't know what they do if they don't.
Friday.
Yeah, if I don't know if we don't supply one, if they supply one, or what they have done in the past.
There was nothing at Wesley Chapel. We didn't supply one, and neither did they. So.
I got you.
We went to 350 over there year before last,
Yeah.
and they didn't have one there, but they ended up taking us over to the camp over there. Some of them did. So it was a little.
Correct. So I mean,
Well, they're out there restoring headstones and setting them back up and putting them back together. I think the least we can do is supply a portlet for them.
That's gonna be a crossing.
Crossing again. Yeah, it was for the Crossing last year, and it'll be back there again. They really like coming there. And I think they're having the same speaker coming again, and she's from Massachusetts. I think she drives in from Massachusetts to do this class.
That cemetery is in pretty good repair, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of older stones there, so they like going there because there is some older and different style headstones that she can talk about how to repair them and what. It's more of what not to do to them. She kind of showed you some repairs that have been done improperly and that type of things, and how to clean them properly. So I'll check in some pricing in and see where we'd be if we have to rent one.
Got a lot of people do repairs that once you get out of Lowe's and a cop gun and try to glue it, and they're just a mess, and then they clean them, and then they end up taking the writing off the stone because it's the old sandstone. Special ways of doing it.
That's all I got for now.
Jenny, do you have any new?
No.
Right, the community comments.
I do have a comment. For the, postcards. I don't know how it works. Is it possible to get an updated address list from USPS to give to Minuteman, and maybe that was part of the,
So it was updated.
Problem.
So it's up to us to update the list.
okay,
So, so the way each, and you may know that I just covered the basis. So
Mhm.
each post office, like Blanchester has, I think, 5 routes on it. And we do one of their entire routes. It doesn't completely run in Harlan Township, but it's pretty close. If we don't do it every door delivery, it's called every door delivery. If we don't do every door delivery, then we have to have the individual addresses, and they charge us more to enter those. So Chief Bennett last year did update the ones. So it's essentially a lot of the ones like Rochester, Osceola, up where Ed is. So the Clarksville addresses, the Morrow addresses, on that side, there's a lot of those that have to go individually and be updated by us. But that
Okay.
was just updated last year.
Okay, I just was wondering.
We had a lot of issues last year.
I know, that's why I was like,
I know.
maybe that was the issue, that it hadn't been recently updated.
You got 19 more.
No, I'm done.
Oh.
That was it.
All right, I have a comment. Thank you. So I was here about 5, 6 weeks ago. My name is Roger Gibb, and I'm from Mason. And some of my friends here, they're from Harlan Township, and I'll speak in just a minute. But I came 6 weeks ago for the same reason tonight. And I just want to express, I want to let you know that our General Assembly is considering passing a resolution that will make Ohio the 20th state to request a convention of states through the U.S. Constitution for proposing amendments to the Constitution. There's a lot of people in this country who are set up with the federal government. Things like a $33 or $34 trillion debt that never seems to stop growing. The border crisis that the federal government created. Just general federal overreach, federal government getting into people's lives and taking power from the people. Pretty frustrating. And so the types of amendments that we would like to pass through this process is fall into 3 categories. Fiscal responsibility, so say balanced budget amendment. How about one subject, one bill? You've heard of these omnibus spending bills where the federal government, they have literally a spending bill that's longer than the Bible, and they give people a day to read it, and it's chock full of pork barrel spending that nobody would pass. It could never pass on its own standing, but it gets passed because it's part of this last minute omnibus spending. Well, that would go away with one bill, one subject. It's just each item has to pass on its own merits. And then there's term limits on Congress. A lot of the problems are from the same people who are corrupt going back to Washington, D.C. for 20, 30, and 40 years. Getting new people in there from the state level, I'd say some more people from Ohio there, at the federal level, we think could go a long way to root out the corruption and get some common sense solutions. And then the third area is reducing federal overreach. So basically reducing the power of the federal government, bringing power back to we the people. So an example of this could be, how about giving joint jurisdiction for the border enforcement to states and the federal government? So no more issue about Texas trying to enforce their border, for example. I have something to give you. I don't remember if I gave this to you before, I may have, but this is a map of the states that have passed this. I've got 3 I can share.
Yeah, you gave that packet.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, the green shaded states, there are 19 states that have passed this already. So this is not a fringe movement that, is not going anywhere. We're more than halfway there. We need 34 states to pass this. There's 7 states that are shaded blue that have passed it halfway. It's passed in one of the 2 chambers in Congress. And then the yellow states have passed it out of committee. This map is a little bit outdated. Pennsylvania just passed it out of their Senate committee. So 2.6 million Americans have signed a petition for this. Also, the J.D. Vance, who was just nominated to be nominee Trump's vice president, he is an official endorser of us. And so this is a mainstream movement to try to rescue our country and do some common sense things. So the reason we're here tonight is to just bring to your attention that other municipalities in Warren Township, namely Hamilton, Deerfield, Wayne, and then the village of Wayneville, Waynesville, and the Village of Corwin have all passed non-binding resolutions requesting the Ohio General Assembly, and specifically Senator Wilson and Representative Lips or Representative Matthews, depending on which this House district they're in, to support this. And so that we can get some progress, make Ohio the 20th state. So we would like to invite you to consider doing a similar thing. Again, it's a non-binding resolution. There's no teeth in it, but it's just a message from we the people that we need some help down here, and and you can help us. The General Assembly of Ohio can help us get these common sense amendments proposed for our country, because the federal Congress is never going to propose anything like this because they're so drunk with power they don't know what they're doing. So that's, anyway, do you have any questions? Have I explained myself well enough?
Oh, we agree with everything you say.
Okay.
But, my cautions are with it. Well, like I said, we'll try to get together next week. And, now that everything's settling down.
Yeah, fair enough. That's great. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
And any decision should be calculated and measured, and you need to have all the facts in your possession, and so that's very, very good. But I didn't know if Peter, did you have any other comments or any thoughts you wanted to
I'm
say?
Brenda Harvey. I'm a longtime resident of Harlan Township, and I support the Convention of States because I think it may be our last ditch effort to try to get this balance of power back. And a lot of people think this way, but they're afraid. They want to see, and our children and our grandchildren, what are we leaving to them? Our freedoms are being eroded every day. And I know it's rough. We have to stand up. And if we don't start standing up, we got nobody to blame but ourselves. So that's the way I feel about it. And there's a lot of people like me, have a lot of convictions. They want to see this thing move forward, and I think we really should. I know everybody has to posture and play the, safe road, but I think we're way past that.
You don't have to.
Way past it.
Yeah, you don't have to do the cautious caution.
Yeah.
If
We're
you
past
do,
it.
if you do, you shouldn't be in office.
No, you got to stand up for what you
Mhm.
stand for and go do it. My dad used to say that if you got no convictions, you'll fall for anything. So just lay it out there. And a lot of lies are being circulated about it, saying that it's going to be they're going to tear the Constitution down. Well, they're already doing that. They don't need our help. They're already tearing it down now. So I say, let's fight. Let's stand up and fight.
Did you have anything?
Not a whole lot. I just think the idea of the Convention of States, a lot of people may not realize that it even exists in the Constitution, and it's a way for people to force the government to bring some sanity back into what's going on. I think people are losing faith in what's happening, and you feel like you can't do anything, but this is an opportunity.
Nope, I agree. Don't follow the Constitution now. I mean,
No.
it is trash it.
Shredding it.
Yeah. I could just make one little more comment on that. The reason that is because the Supreme Court, we don't follow the Constitution, we follow the interpreted Constitution as interpreted by the Supreme Court. And so the Supreme Court, if they interpret it one way, then that's the official word, and so that's the version of the Constitution that we follow. So honestly, in all fairness, with no exaggeration, the Constitution has been amended by the Supreme Court effectively since the beginning.
By the rulings.
And so Congress can say, oh, we're following the Constitution, but they're following the interpreted Constitution.
The eroded Constitution.
The eroded Constitution. And that's why corrective measure needs to be taken to slide the house back on the foundation, as it were, to just put us back on sure footing. So.
And then Roger, you also talked about federalism. It's
Well,
dead. I mean,
yeah.
we're supposed to have these checks and balances, right? The three sections of the government. And what do we have now?
Yeah.
Executive, judicial, legislative. We've got them all crisscrossing and taking over and taking the power and doing their thing.
This is the check on the federal government. Like the legislative, you got the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, and they're all checks on each other's power. But what's the check on the federal government's power? And the answer is It's Article 5 of the Constitution. The states are the check on the federal government's power. The states have never exercised that power to check. And this is what this is all about. It's time that we check the power of the federal government. So, yeah,
We're all on the same.
Are
like
we
I said,
preaching to the choir?
Oh, no, yeah. It's,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I'll sit down with you next week and we'll have a chat.
that sounds good.
But yeah, it's, like I said, I don't think there's anybody here that disagrees with everything you're saying, because
Thank you.
it's all true.
Thank you. Look forward to talking to you some more. Appreciate it.
Zach? Yeah. All right, your 19's over.
Yeah, I only have one.
All right, do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills.
Second? Correspondence?
Nothing.
Anything else to be brought before the board this evening?
Vacation for these two. That's what.
All their turn? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?